All right, Crazy Hot Matrix Part 2. I'm kidding, this has nothing to do with that Crazy Hot Matrix, but I do want to talk about cellular inflammation because cellular inflammation is really at the root cause of every type of chronic disease that we have out there. Whether it's heart disease, cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, or even autoimmune diseases, and even normal everyday things such as, mental fatigue or mental exhaustion or just poor memory in general, or mood swings from anxiety to severe depression, okay? And even physical things such as headaches or chronic neck and back pain or even shoulder pain, okay? That can all be traced to cellular inflammation. So what I want to do is give you 3 different kind of strategies of how to really minimize cellular inflammation, okay? So let's draw out the cell, and this can be any cell in your body, but every single cell is going to have what's called a phospholipid bilayer, okay? And every cell is also going to have what's called organelles. We're not going to draw out all the organelles, but we'll draw the mitochondria, which also has a phospholipid bilayer there, and we'll draw out the DNA, or the nucleus, which contains a DNA here, okay? So the reason why I'm emphasizing this phospholipid bilayer is it's because that comes from the fats that you eat, okay? So you really want to avoid the hydrogenated fats or the trans fats that really come from junk food, and you want to have plenty of good fats in your diet, and these are things like omega-3 fatty acids that you get from fish oil, olive oil, coconut oil, avocados, and even things like walnuts and almonds, okay? So that's actually creates kind of like your first line of defense, because that creates almost like a force field around our cells and around our organelles to protect it from free radical damage. So that's the very first thing that you want to do, is increase your intake of omega-3 fatty acids, okay? Now, as I mentioned, free radicals, they want to come in here, and the first things that they want to do is actually destroy this mitochondria, okay? Now, the mitochondria produces what's called ATP, okay, adenosine triphosphate, and that is our most basic fuel source. ATP is needed to run in every cellular function that we have, and without ATP, we would eventually die, okay? So it's almost kind of like an innate intelligence, so to speak, for these free radicals to want to attack this mitochondria, okay? Now, I'm going to nerd out a little bit so that you can understand this a little better. Not that I'm not nerding out already with the cellular functions here, but if you recall from Star Wars, I think that's something that everybody's watched, the way to take out the Death Star, the way to neutralize the Death Star was to basically shoot the power generator, right? And so that's basically what these free radicals are doing. This is trying to attack, so let's, free radicals, FR, they are trying to attack our power generator, our mitochondria, okay? Now, the good guy that's inside the cell, and we have this, everybody has this, is what's called glutathione, okay? So glutathione, which we'll abbreviate as GSH, blocks these free radicals from occurring, okay, or from attacking the mitochondria and everything else that's inside the cell. So glutathione is our second level of defense, okay? Now, really, glutathione deserves its own video because I really want to talk about how to boost intracellular glutathione and how to keep it recycling. But that goes into a little bit more detail than I want to here. I want to keep this nice and short to keep your attention, right? Okay, so the third level of defense that really decreases inflammation is occurring at the nucleus level or at the DNA level, okay? If you recall, the nucleus contains chromosomes which have our DNA, okay? You get 23 chromosomes from your mom, 23 chromosomes from your dad, and then these chromosomes basically combine to make who you are, okay? Your DNA encodes for your hair color, your eye color, your personality, your traits, all of your characteristics. All of that is basically encoded in that DNA. DNA also encodes for inflammation, okay? But these inflammatory signals need to be turned on. And the signal that turns them on is what's called nuclear factor kappa beta. So, nuclear factor kappa beta, okay? Not to be confused with New Kids on the Block. I know it's a little corny. That's my buddy Tad. That's what he calls this, New Kids on the Block. But what nuclear factor kappa beta does is it goes into the cell, and if you remember from basic biology, you get DNA, RNA, and protein. Well, the protein that this is going to encode for are inflammatory markers that turn on even more nuclear factor kappa beta, okay? Now, backtracking a little bit, nuclear factor kappa beta really comes from our environment, okay? It comes from the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the pesticides that's in our food, the stresses that we have on a normal day-to-day life, such as, the stresses from work, stresses at home, stresses from a personal relationship, even things like such as running a marathon or overtraining or being outdoors, drinking excessive alcohol or medications. All of that can increase nuclear factor kappa beta and basically cause this massive inflammatory loop to occur, okay? It's basically an endless cycle of inflammation that eventually leads to disease, okay? Now, the key thing then is to minimize or to block the expression of nuclear factor kappa beta, and there's two things in the natural world that are highly effective at doing that, and that is number 3. And we're going to call that turmeric, which is a spice, and resveratrol, which is what's found in grapeseed extract and in wines, okay? So these two things block out nuclear factor kappa beta and really halts or slows down the progression of this inflammatory loop cycle, okay? So if you want to learn a little bit more about these topics, okay, you can log on to PubMed.com. And PubMed.com is really a collection of medical journals and research articles on everything that's, health related out there. Okay, so you can research a type of disease, a type of nutrient, a type of drug, and really get to know exactly what's going on or what research is telling us about these things. Okay, I think glutathione alone has roughly about 20,000 papers on that topic. Turmeric and resveratrol, probably about 10 to maybe even 12,000 papers on that. And yes, I have read them all. I'm kidding, I have not. But you can, you're welcome to. And again, if you want to do that, that's on PubMed.com, and we can talk about it. Okay, if you want to read these articles, we'll have lunch. We can have pizza and beer. We'll have a inflammatory lunch. Okay. I'm kidding, of course, but so these are strategies that I've implemented in my functional medicine practice with regards to really minimizing inflammation at the cellular level. Okay, again, I'll post a video on glutathione, and I'll probably do another video as well on nuclear factor kappa beta as it relates to autoimmune diseases. Okay, because that involves a little bit more about Th1, Th2, and Th3 and Th17 pathways. There'll probably be at least 2 or maybe even 3 more videos that are coming from this one video alone. Okay, that will be posted on the website shop.sdbraincenter.com. SD is in San Diego. Again, braincenter.com, and you can also follow us on Facebook at San Diego Brain Center. Okay. I hope you guys learned something today, and I'm confident that if you start employing these strategies in your life, you'll have a better quality of life and you'll be much more healthier as a result. All right? Take care. Bye-bye.